Have you ever wondered what keeps your body standing tall, moving smoothly, and keep protecting your vital organs? And that is nothing but all thanks go to the incredible skeleton system. Welcome back to the Naveen Raj Essential channel. In this video, I divide this video into three parts. In the first part, I'll cover the skeleton system, and second part, I'm going with the joints, and last part will be the how to keep your bones healthier. Let's move to the skeleton system, and we'll try to explain it. Now, I'll tell you the definition of the skeleton system. All the bones in the human body, together with the tendons, ligaments, and cartilage, we call the skeleton system. And skeleton system have important functions. Let me tell you one by one. The first function of the skeleton system is it gives shape and support to our body, and it also holds our body up. So I'm right now standing erect means it is because of the skeleton system. And second function, it protects our internal organs such as heart, lungs, liver, and stomach. The third function of skeleton system is it allows the movement of different body parts. Along with the muscles in our body, it helps us to walk, run, and talk. And next function is it makes blood cells. Many bones in our body are hollow and filled with a soft jelly-like substance called the bone marrow. Blood cells are made in the bone marrow. Bones form the framework of our body. This framework of bones is called the skeleton. A baby is born with 300 bones, but an adult human skeleton is made up of 206 bones. This is because some bones fuse together as the baby grows. Bones differ in shape and size. Some bones are big and some are small. The thigh bone is the longest bone in our skeleton. The smallest bone is found inside our ears. And here I have one question. The smallest bone found inside the ears, can we name that bone? So try to name the smallest bone name. Now let us learn about some major groups of bones. They are skull. We are going to learn about skull. And this one, ribcage, backbone. This is the backbone. And shoulder girdle, pelvic girdle, and forelimbs and hind limbs. Now I move on to the first part of the skeleton system, that is skull. Skull protects the brain as well as it gives shape to our face. And the skull, it is made up of 22 bones. It includes the bones of our head, face, and jaws. These bones are joined together very closely. All bones of the skull are fixed except the lower jaw. The lower jaw can be moved. This allows us to open our mouth, to chew food, and to talk. Let's move on to the next part, that is backbone. Backbone present at back of our body, and it is also known as vertebral column or spine. This protects the spinal cord, and spinal cord it contains the bundle of nerves, and that nerves from brain, it send the information to the all body parts. The backbone also protects nerves and blood vessels that run down from the brain along the spinal cord. The backbone is made up of small bones called vertebrae. All the vertebrae are linked together. Adults have 33 vertebrae, out of which only 26 are movable. It is the vertebrae that allows us to twist, bend, and move our back. A baby is born with 33 movable vertebrae. Some of these bones fuse together as the baby grows older. Thus, adults have 26 movable vertebrae. Now I move on to the ribcage here. The ribcage is made up of 12 pairs of curved bones, and they are present on the chest area. And these ribs will look like a cage that form the cage. That's why you call it a rib cage. And this rib cage will protect our internal organs such as heart and lungs. Ribs are joined to the backbone at the back and to the breastbone are also called sternum at the front. The last two pairs of the ribs are joined only to the backbone, so they are called floating ribs. Next I move to the limbs and girdles. We have two pairs of limbs, that is upper limbs that constitute arms and lower limbs that constitute legs, and two girdles, the shoulder girdle and the pelvic or hip girdle. Girdles are the bones that help us move the upper and lower limbs. Upper limbs help us pick and carry things. Each upper limb consists of the bones of the upper arm and the lower arm and the hand. The bone of the upper arm is called the humerus. It is joined to two small bones of the lower arm at the elbow. The arm is attached to our hand. The hand is made up of many small bones of the palm and the fingers. The shoulder girdle connects the upper limbs to the spine. It is made up of two collar bones and two shoulder bones. Lower limbs help us walk and run. Each lower limb consists of the bones of the upper leg and the lower leg and the foot. The bones of the upper leg is called the femur or the thigh bone. It is the longest bone in our body. It is joined to two small bones of the lower leg at the knee. The leg is attached to the foot. The foot is made up of many small bones including the toes. The pelvic girdle connects the lower limbs to the spine. It is made up of three large flat bones joined together in the hip region. Now I move on to the second part of our video, that is joints. Joint means a place where two bones meet each other. That particular place we call it as a joint. For example, here you can see elbow joint. From topmost one bone is coming and from the lower side one bone is coming, and at one point they are meeting each other. So this particular point we call it as a joint. And at joints, these bones are held together by the ligament. And the ligaments are the bands of tissues that hold one bone to another. The ends of bones are covered with a hard elastic substance called cartilage, which protects the bones from rubbing against each other. Cartilage is also found in our outer ear and at the end of our nose. At joints, bones are joined to the muscles. Bones are joined to muscles with the help of a strong tissue called tendons. Joints are of two types. First one, immovable joints, and second one, movable joints. Joints that do not allow any movements are called immovable or fixed joints. Bones of the skull except lower jaw are the examples of immovable joints. And joints that allow movement are called movable joints. These are of four types depending on the kind of movement shown. Now I move on to the different kinds of joints. In this video, I am going to discuss with you mainly four kinds of joints. The first one will be pivot joint. Second one will be ball and socket joint. Third, hinge joint. And fourth one will be gliding joint. Let's move on to the first type of joint, that is pivot joint. Here you can see pivot joint. It is present in the neck area between the first and second vertebra. And pivot joints help us the head movements, that is side to side movements like this, and up and down movements. Next joint is ball and socket joint. This joint is seen in the bones of the pelvic and shoulder girdles. It allows circular movement in many directions. In this joint, one bone that ends in a ball fits into the socket or hollow of another bone. A bowler bowling a cricket ball is a movement helped by the ball and socket joint. Next joint is hinge joint. This joint is seen in the bones of the elbows and knees. It allows movement in only one direction. The lifting of a toothbrush to bring it to the teeth is a movement helped by the hinge joint. The last joint will be gliding joint. This joint is seen in the bones of the wrist and the ankle. It allows a gliding movement by which the bones can slide against each other. The rotation of the wrist or ankle is a movement helped by the gliding joint. Now I move on to the last part of our video, That is, how do we keep our bones and muscles healthy? It is important to have healthy bones and muscles. Some ways to keep our bones and muscles healthy are as follows. Eating food that contains calcium and vitamin D keeps our bones healthy. Our bones are made up of minerals such as calcium. If our body does not get enough calcium, it pulls out calcium from our bones, making our bones weak. So, growing children must eat food that is in calcium rich. We get calcium from milk, curd, and cheese. Spending some time in the sunlight every day is a natural way of getting vitamin D, as our body produces vitamin D in the presence of sunlight. Eating protein rich foods such as eggs, fish, meat, cheese, or pulses like peas and beans keeps our muscles healthy. Doing regular exercise keeps our bones and muscles strong and healthy. Getting proper rest gives muscles adequate time to repair themselves from wear and tear and helps them get strong. Keeping a good posture while sitting and standing keeps our bones and muscles in good shape. By following these all exercise and eating protein rich food, calcium rich food, or vitamin D, one can keep the bones and muscles in healthy condition.